Hey everyone, it's Odd here. Just wanted to give you guys some thoughts I've been running through my head lately. I think a lot of people are putting a lot of faith in this election coming up, the midterms, and putting a lot of faith in changes possibly coming in 2024. I think a lot of you have also kind of been, not everyone, but a lot of people are putting their faith in things that they shouldn't. If you're on the left, you're still so blind that you can't see what Biden and his administration are doing to our country and our economy. If you're on the right, you have a lot of faith in hoping that your candidates are going to be chosen for power. We all know what happened during the last election, those who have been paying attention. What makes you think that they're not going to do it this time? I hate to tell you this, but you shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. And that truth is that our democracy is dead. Their elections will be rigged again, and the country's going to fall into chaos because of this great transition that Joe Biden's speaking of. This transition that he's speaking of, something that has been in play for many decades now, okay? For those of you who have an eye to see what's happening, who have a mind to think rationally and independently without being programmed by either left-right biases, can see what's taking place here. A long time ago, there was a KGB agent that came to America and defected from the Soviet Union. And he described how it was a long process to destroy America by destroying its morality first, its patriotism, then dividing it, then devastating its economy, and then implementing what they will call the normalization process. This normalization process will be when the tanks come in, the boots are in your face, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. The people on the left don't even understand that they'll be the first to be assassinated because they're defectors, natural defectors of order. It's the same thing that happened when Stalin took control, when Lenin took control. This Marxist-Leninist agenda has been infiltrating our country now for many decades. And I implore you to look something up online called the 1963 Congressional Record of the Communist Agenda, the 45 Communist Goals. Okay? You can Google this, 45 Communist Goals. All right? Also look at the 10 planks of Marxism. You'll see all 45 communist goals have been implemented, and 9 of the 10 Marxist goals have also been implemented. The only one that has not been implemented yet is the 10th plank, which is the minimum living wage. For those of you who know what that is, it's when the government gives you a certain amount of money to survive. They pay you every month. Sounds great. It's not. What's going to happen here, folks, and I want you to pay very close attention to me, this plan. Okay? What's coming is something, unfortunately, that we cannot stop now. So what I'm asking of you is to prepare yourselves and get your family together and orchestrate a plan. The most important thing in the world right now is your family. Okay? If you serve God, then God be with you. But know this, that in our schools right now, we have something called Common Core. Common Core is a socialist programming tactic. You cannot teach an old dog new tricks, so they go after the young. Raise them up throughout the generations until they are Marxist. They will not know the threat of communism or socialism until it is too late. Just ask the Venezuelans. They're one of the most recent to fall into this state of socialist tyranny. Ask them if they would love to revert back. It's kind of sad when you hear them say they miss Hugo Chavez. That tells you anything. And this is detrimental for us to understand. And I pray to God that it goes another way. But it's all part of a plan, orchestrated for many years. The trials that they're holding right now about January 6th are unconstitutional. Congress does not have the power at all to do anything judicial whatsoever. They're legislators. They handle money. Okay? Write bills. They are not the Supreme Court. Excuse me. They are the legislative branch. The judicial branch is separate from the legislative branch. It is unconstitutional, it is illegal, and it's treasonous. Okay? What is happening in our country is literally a purposeful devastation and destruction of our morality, our patriotism, our way of life. Now they're coming after your pockets. This great transition is socialism. Now, I want to kind of enlighten you on what socialism is. Socialism, when written down on paper and not practiced yet, sounds great. It's an awesome idea, an amazing idea, that everybody on the planet is going to be able to have equal amount of food and water. They're going to be treated fairly, equally, and all of these great things. They sound great on paper. This is how socialism truly works. Those who don't contribute to society will starve. Yes, I'm speaking to those out there right now that are sitting on their daddy and mommy's couches, not working. Those who are out there right now living off the government because they don't feel like working, not because they're really truly disabled, but because they just are lazy. You'll starve to death. They'll take your food, they'll take your water, and if you try to protest against them, they'll kill you. This is how socialism works. There's no justice. There's no due process of rights. You have no rights in a socialist country. Why do you think in other socialist nations in Europe reverted back to their democracy-based capitalism? Because they were watching it rip them apart. And the socialism they practiced was a micro-socialism. It wasn't full-blown. But what these people have in mind for the Great Transition was signed into power in the United States of America and across the world in June 1992. The UN Earth Summit Charter. The reason why your gas prices are so high is because they are purposely wrecking the economy. They're destroying us from within. the last phase that the Russians had wanted to implement. The people in power, some of them are known Nazis, some are descendants of Nazis, and a lot of them are Marxists. And they want war. They want it. That's why they keep poking the bear, poking the bear, poking the bear, poking the bear. Come on, Russia, nuke, nuke, Russia, nuke. We want to use our nukes, Russia, nuke. Come on, let's do this. Let's wipe the freaking population from the face of the earth and start over with 500 million persons in perpetual balance with nature. Yeah, I just read the first commandment from the Georgia Guidestone. This is a controlled demolition, folks. Trump's not going to save us. Biden's not going to save you. Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Lindsey Graham. None of these people are going to save you. There's only one person that's going to save you. And that's Jesus Christ. God. The only person that's going to save you in this world, in a carnal sense, is yourself. This is why our country was founded. Independent, individual liberty. And your own pursuit of happiness. Instead of sitting on a couch doing absolutely nothing with your life, you can get out there and you can cut grass. Get contracts. Buy a vehicle. Moving the lawnmower around. Then you buy a weed whacker. Use that money to invest. Then you buy a business name. Then you buy a truck and a trailer. Now you're cutting so much property, you can't do it all by yourself, so you have to hire an employee. That employee runs around with you cutting grass. Well, guess what? Now, it's growing so fast over the first 2 years of operations that now you have 2 trucks, 2 trailers, some zero-turn lawnmowers, and before you know it, you have multitudes of employees. It's called entrepreneurship. It's called the American dream. The only person holding you back from any success is yourself. Cold hard facts. Within 1 year, I became a general manager. Why? Because I laced up my bootstraps and I got in there and I worked my butt off. It's not hard to do. You just got to be dedicated and you got to have the grit and the will to want to succeed. That's the difference here. The more you become reliant on the government, you create something called a dependency state. A dependency state is the last phase before the destruction of a democracy. It's been tried and true and tested throughout time that all great democracies collapse when it becomes a sense of dependency by its citizens. This is why the Democratic Party has tried so hard to create, all of these programs to dismantle and destroy your morality and make you and force you to just do nothing. Be compliant and complacent, and we'll give you money. And if you just want to do nothing, give you more time to go out and protest when we ask you to. If you're filling your head with our nonsense on the news. You're being brainwashed. You're not even your own individual person anymore. Do you even know who you are? Have you looked in the mirror and said, why do I have so much hatred in my heart? Why have I become like this? Who made me like this? Was it myself? Did I do this to me? Or am I being programmed to think like this? to act like this. Because a couple years ago, 6, 7 years ago, I didn't care about these things. Now all of a sudden, it's all I want to talk about. Sexism, racism, all this nonsense that is being force-fed down our throats. Instead of recognizing that we are all one people. We are all brothers and sisters in God's eyes, and we're all American citizens. We are one family, okay? So tell me something. If America was attacked tomorrow by Russia, would you have any pride to fight? To protect your homeland? To protect your family? If somebody shot your house up, would you want to protect your family? Your property? America is your home. This is where you're from. All of us. This is our home team. If you were in high school, did you root for another high school to whoop your high school's butt? No. I mean, come on. If you're in college, do you root for another college to beat your college? No. I mean, most people here in the United States pick their home teams for their for their football or basketball teams. Some will go out of state because they just like the Cowboys or whatever. But still, I mean, football is an American sport as well. Do you not see what they're doing? I mean, they're literally destroying everything that we have loved. Redskins fans can't be Redskins fans anymore because now they got to call them the Washington football team because of identity politics. And what I find hilarious about that whole little nonsense is that the Washington Redskins was founded, okay, and literally logo drawn by the Blackfoot tribe. You can look it up. The chief on the helmet of the Washington Redskins was the chief of the Blackfoot tribe at the time, and it was drawn by the natives. And the natives accepted all of this, and they're the ones that named the team because they were called, and they called themselves proudly the Redskins. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, some political schmuck sees an opportunity to cancel in silence, and they cancel in silence. This is what they do. Character assassinate, continuously just badger with information, funnel some money to some news outlets, and have them continuously push your agenda until people get angry about it, and then they rise up, and then they want change, and then the change is made, and then everything is silenced until the media finds something else they want to be angry about and force you to go out there and protest until the change happens. Okay, this is why the Confederate Party wanted to destroy its own statues, so that way you won't know history, because if you destroy history, you can't learn from history, meaning that you will repeat history. Because the Confederate Party is the Democratic Party. So wake up. Like, I just don't understand. Like, it's annoying me that people don't see what's happening here. $5 gas, $10 gas in some states. Truck drivers are putting over $2,000 in their trucks just to travel and deliver product. You think this is going to last? It's going to be, I give it 3 months, maybe 6, before these truck drivers say, we can't do it anymore. We can't afford it. Supply lines are going to be just completely devastated. You're going to be paying $20 for a gallon of milk, $12 for a loaf of bread. I'm talking about months down the road, not years. And when this election comes and nothing changes, then what? The very definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. So what, are we just all insane? Have we lost our cotton-picking minds here? Can we not think for ourselves and have rational thought anymore, or opinions? So my ideas are wrong and your ideas are wrong because every single time we talk, nobody's listening to each other. There's no understanding. There's no debate. When I say something to you, you're thinking in your mind, everything that you've been programmed with and how you're going to respond back to me without even understanding or listening to what I say. So then that way, when I'm done talking, you're just going to blurt out whatever you've been thinking about the entire time I was talking to you because you weren't listening to a word I said. This is how people work. This is how their mind works nowadays. It's a defense mechanism. Okay? If you think you're right, you're going to defend that to the nail all the way. No room for logical discussion. Just, I'm right, you're wrong. And that's where we're at today. There's no talking. There's no rationalizing. No love. Just pure hatred and I'm right, you're wrong mentality. Jesus said that this would happen. Brother against brother, sister against sister, those in their own household against one another. There's a Democrat in the house and a Trumpy in the house, then they're not going to like each other. They're not going to see eye to eye. If there's a Christian in the house and there's a transgender in the house, they're not going to see eye to eye. If there's a Muslim in the house and they have a Christian friend that wants to, or a Christian guy comes over and he's, infatuated with the Muslim girl, he's not allowed to date her because it's against their religion that Muslim women must date Muslim men, etc., etc. It's all division, every division everywhere. Just the human mind and the psyche, our consciousness, is infected right now with barbarianism. Civility in the common humane society of who we are as intellectual beings is beginning to wane. People think that when Trump says make America great again, he's talking about being a racist white person that wants white people to run the country. He's talking about economics, making America strong, making America economically savvy, stuff like that. But I'm just using that as an example of how divisive these tactics can be utilized to spread disinformation. I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm not a Biden supporter. I'm a Jesus supporter. And I'm an American. Proud. Don't like what's happening to my country. To our country. Because just 7-8 years ago, we weren't seeing race and all these things like this. When I was a kid and I grew up, I didn't see race. My family never taught me to be a racist. I grew up in D.C., multicultural environment. Every race in the world centered in my home city. I've seen people. That's what I've seen. I've seen human beings. I just don't even understand racism. I think racists are dogs. They're no better than dogs. Actually, a dog is more of a higher intellectual mind than a racist. Because even dogs don't see color. I mean, you think that a black lab is going to see a golden retriever as another race and hate it? No. They're going to run around and frolic together and just be happy and smell each other's butts. I mean, it's what it is. They don't see the idiocracy in that. We're all one race. One people. We all bleed red. We all see out the same kind of eyes. If you cut me open, My innards are pink. Everyone's are pink. Just because our pigment's different because we migrated to different parts of the planet when God struck the Tower of Babel and put everybody with different languages, and they all spread out throughout the earth and eventually just not evolved, but micro-evolved to adapt to their climate, not macro-evolve. We didn't turn into fish. Like California just said, they literally just passed a law declaring bumblebees as fish. I mean, this is how stupid this is becoming. You take the identity out of everything. You take the identity out of everything, and what do? What do you accomplish? Without any type of understanding or having an identity of something, you're creating chaos, meaninglessness, literally a lack of knowledge and intellectualism. This picture on the wall behind me is noted in my mind as a picture and trained as a pattern or a piece to understand the concept of what it is. In order for humans to have rational thinking, we have to define things as for what they are and what we truly know them to be. When I see a bee, I know it's a bee. When I see a car, I know it's a car. When I see that picture up there, I know it's a picture. When you're watching my video right now, you know you are currently watching a video. So, am I supposed to call a bumblebee a fish now? Do you see what I mean? What's going on right now? The identity politics. They're dismantling everything. Literally ripping the fabric of logic and truth and blinding us by hatred. If you don't agree with me, you're a racist. If you don't agree with me, you're a sexist. If you don't agree with me, then you believe bees aren't fish. I mean, come on, folks. Like, literal insanity here. Like, are we all schizophrenic? Why do we even watch the news anymore? I mean, if I were to go out there and see that my car is clearly in the driveway, somebody's like, that's not a car, that's a truck. I'm like, no, it's definitely a car. They're like, no, it's a truck. The media said it's a truck that's in front of your house. Well, no, I'm pretty sure it's a car. I'm seeing it with my own eyes right now. I'm actually unlocking the doors to my car. Oh, now it's a truck. What's the difference between a truck and a car? If there's no identity of that certain item, no logic, no form thought of understanding. What do you have? Chaos. Those of you who have watched The Black Knight, Batman, the Joker used this analogy when he was in the hospital with Two-Face. He said, if you kill a bunch of army men, nobody panics because it's all part of the plan. But if you kill just some random young lady or whatever, then everybody loses their freaking minds because it's not part of the plan. If you create a little chaos, then you can have order. Order out of chaos. So structurally, they are demoralizing us. They are lying to us, brainwashing us through a psychological operation. And now they're wrecking our economy, making us dependent, making us angry, and eventually, before you know it, it's over. Freedom will be gone. And we're watching people cry out for this to try to protect it. But it's too late, folks. Gas prices are up. Cost of living's going up. Everything's going to go up. And this isn't an attack on the rich. It's an attack on you and me. It's an attack on the middle class and the poor. How can somebody that's making $20,000 a year continue to drive their vehicle to work? Afford groceries. And yet, I'll still vote for Biden. I pay $10 of gas. I need my car. No, you don't. Stop it. Just stop it. And you're paying $10, $20 a gallon for fuel. More than a gallon of, like literally, if your vehicle is 12 gallons, it'll take you 2 days with minimum wage right now in some states. 2 days of working to fill your car. Put that into perspective. If you're making $7.25 an hour and gas prices are $7.25 a gallon, 12 gallons is 12 hours of work. Does that sum it up for you? Who's really being attacked here? Do you really think this great transition is about climate change as in saving the planet? Hell no. They don't give two craps about the planet. They don't give two craps about you. It's about resource control. Read Dancing with the Devil by Gunther Schwab. Gunther Schwab is an Austrian-born Nazi, and he served under Adolf Hitler, and he is the founding father of anthropogenic global warming, and his ideas as what was integrated into the creation and foundation of the United Nations in 1947. This man came to the United States under Operation Paperclip with many other scientists, including Werner von Braun, who actually became the head of NASA. And he is the founding father of the V-2 rocket in Germany that used to rain down on Britain during World War II. He became the head of a government agency. Gunther Schwab served under Al Gore. Al Gore was one of the biggest pushers of global warming. So, starting to see what's happening here? They want to control your resources. They want to control your water. It's like Donald Trump said, they're not after me. They want you. I'm just standing in the way. He's right. Even though I don't like Trump or Biden, Trump did speak some facts. They didn't want him. He was standing in the way of them gaining power over you and me. The great transition is happening as they wreck our country. Prepare for World War III. Prepare to starve. Prepare to watch everything around you change before your very eyes. I just wish we would learn to love one another. Get along. Realize who the threat is. Demand change. And understand our rights. The Constitution that everybody just wants to get rid of. Have you even read it? Those who want to get rid of it, have you read it? Do you not realize that is your rights? Your rights. Yours. A right is something that cannot be abridged or taken away. It's yours. You're willing to throw it all away and give your rights to security to allow for people to rule over you with their guns as they take your guns to protect yourself while they have armed guards surrounding them, protected by guns. You're not allowed to have those, no. Because you're a threat to society, you're a threat to the power structure, you're a threat to them. Founding fathers are turning in their graves right now. This video will probably be shut down, silenced. by aristocratic clowns that believe that they know what's right, not realizing that those who silence free speech are no different than Joseph Stalin, now Hitler. They're Hitler. History and time and the spirit of existence will judge all of us accordingly. God will judge us all based upon our actions. History will judge who's right and wrong. And if we've ever learned one thing about history is the ones who are doing the silencing and the ones who are burning and hurting people, burning down buildings and shooting people and massacring people and assassinating people are always the bad ones. We're not on the right side of this. So if they want to silence me, just remember you're on the wrong side of history. And you're not a freedom fighter. You're not fighting for anything. Power and control. Just trying to feed the queen bee of the hive. And the rest of us drones will have our wings ripped off and kicked out of the hive if we don't contribute to society. I understand. Either which way, I think I'm done rambling. I just had to get that off my chest. I just want to tell you all that I love you. And I've been very busy lately. Like I said, I got to this position because of my hard work. I've worked over 250 hours this month. Because it was needed. And I have obligations to my employees, to my company, to myself, my family, my dog, and my community to contribute. But in a socialist nation, if I were to work 250 hours, I'd get the same as everybody else. And if I didn't work what everyone else worked, I wouldn't get what everyone else gets. It's the key. It's the trick. Why do you think dirty corporations here in America decided to offshore jobs to slave children in China? I hear all this talk about slavery in the past and reprimands and stuff. I'm Irish. My family was enslaved to Britain for over 1,000 years. But I don't talk about it because it's the future now. We're in the future. This is now, today. It's sad when you think about it that any people would ever be enslaved at any given point in time. It's not fair for anyone to go through that. But it's been going on from the dawn of time. And if you do your research in this, they used to teach this in school. But just about every nation, every race on the planet's been enslaved at one point. And unfortunately, we're about to be enslaved to China. What sickens me is that when I hear people talk about this, then they'll go out and they'll buy Air Force One Nikes, that are manufactured by slave children in China, working 80 to 90 hours a week, that have to pee in, excuse my French, but pee in cups and stuff next to them because they're not even allowed to have bathroom breaks. They die from heat exhaustion and starvation. Scream your morality at me. Anybody. And nobody even understands what they're contributing to. It's more than just bringing our jobs back to America. It's about breaking the very mold of the ethics of morals in business. The Kantianism, the utilitarianism, the egoism, the prima facie obligators, all of it. Maybe moral for business. It's not moral for the human experience. No one should ever be enslaved on this planet. Ever. It's uncalled for. It's disgusting. We, as a people, need to speak out against it. You see something from China, don't buy it. Move on to something else. Do not contribute to the dismantlers. It's the only way we may have a chance. Is to not feed the beast. Alright? So I'm going to get going. I'm tired. I worked 20 hours yesterday and 12 hours today. But I had to get it all off my chest. Because I want you all to be ready. For real. I say this because I love you all. I don't even care if they shut me down anymore because they've silenced me everywhere else. But I had to get this out. I love you all. Very much. I just want to see you all make it through this. Okay? I'll talk to you all in the next one whenever I have time to get to it, if my channel's still here. If not, then take care of your families and just remember what I said. And, I'll see you all on the other side. One of these days soon. God bless you.